Good afternoon. First Monday of the month of June 2019. And I am happy to be here with you. If you're in the mastermind, congratulations. This message this month I call Challenging Your Beliefs About Real Estate. Now, I want to dive really deep with you about your particular beliefs in the business of real estate and how your beliefs as a person influences your performance in real estate and in your real estate career. First of all, let's acknowledge a couple of things. By definition, beliefs, by definition, what I'm talking about here are that structure of thoughts and opinions that you have about a certain aspect of any part of your life. In this case, we're going to talk about real estate and your real estate career, but those thoughts and opinions you have about the aspect of your life based on your historical references. So for example, you grew up in, and I grew up in an environment that conditioned us, influenced us to believe certain ways about certain things. Here's an example. So let's talk about money for a second. I'm going to expand on money in a few minutes, but the belief about money. Perhaps like me, you were raised in a religiously conservative household where the Bible was read regularly and you attended church on a regular basis. And there is a belief over there that says the love of money is the root of all evil. And so you heard this, you heard this, you heard this, and then the associative belief that said a rich man cannot inherit the kingdom of God. In fact, I think the text actually says it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to inherit the kingdom of God. That actually is a line taken from a parable, an example, a story that was told by Jesus, and it wasn't intended to be an axiom or a condition for entry into heaven or the kingdom. However, those are two examples of lines, texts, religious texts that have been taken and have been pounded into us mentally, and as a result, we've experienced a belief. Many people have experienced a belief about money. And that belief sounds a little bit something like, if you love money or if you seek money or if you acquire money, then you're an evil person. That you really have to be a pauper or poor or a person of little means in order to get into the kingdom of God. And so you hear those as a young person, and listen, when you're 6, 7 years old, and you hear those kinds of comments over and over and over and over, you don't even know the programming that is getting into your head at that time. So you then match that up with things you might have heard on the TV or the radio or influences from other conversations, and you begin to form opinions about money, and those become your beliefs about money. Now, here's the challenge about beliefs. Let's go back to beliefs overall. They become so deep-seated, so ingrained, so inherent in our personality that we don't even know what we believe sometimes. We just respond or react to a situation, or we hear something that we respond in a certain way, and it's just the way we've always responded. It's just the way that we've always reacted to a certain thing because of the conditioning that took place throughout the course of our lifetime. You might have gone to school and these beliefs were reinforced. You might have gone into the workplace, the beliefs were reinforced. So not just money, but all sorts of things. So your beliefs about money, your beliefs about relationships, about the sexes, men are this way, women are this way, your beliefs about politicians, your beliefs about politics, your beliefs about religion overall, your beliefs about government, your beliefs about your health and fitness. Like, what if way deep down you have the belief that by golly, it is hard to be fit. Well, guess what? If that's your deep-seated belief, it's going to be hard to be fit. And until you replace that belief with a more empowering belief that to be fit creates energy and it's fun and exciting and adventurous and I love moving my body, or beliefs like that, then you're going to hold on to the belief that produces the result of an unfit body. As an example, well, in the business of real estate, since that's what we're talking about in this mastermind and in our group here, we come to the career or the business of real estate with a certain set of beliefs that have affected and that are affecting our performance in the real estate business. Now, there are two kinds of beliefs. There are personal belief. So you may have a personal belief about certain aspects of the business. And then the second kind is what's known as a global belief. In other words, everybody in the business has this experience. Every economy has this experience. All men do this. All women do this. All governments and politicians do this. All big business act this way. Those are called global beliefs. In other words, we lump every person or every entity in that category together under one certain belief. Individual beliefs, like I mentioned earlier, are beliefs you hold about yourself. Because is it true that working out and being fit is hard? Might be for you, but it's not for that next person who's totally fit. They have a different set of beliefs that drive their, pardon me, that drive their performance in being fit. Likewise, in real estate, okay? So let's talk about some of the beliefs that people have about real estate. Let's break them down. And what I would do or what I would challenge you to do in this video is to really look inside at your own personal beliefs. This is a video between you and me and you, nobody else. You don't have to have this exercise with anyone else. You just have to, I would invite you, let me put it that way. I would invite you to really take a look at your core beliefs. And you know, I got to be frank with you. I did not take a look at my beliefs about any aspect of my life until maybe I was in my late 30s, okay? So now for about 20 years, I've been really doing a lot of intensive, introspective, personal development work. Now, I was always somewhat aware of what was going on, but like to uncover and peel back the onions of my beliefs it takes work, and it takes time, and it takes patience, and it takes persistence. But if your desire is to be the best version of you, to be the best person you can be, then I would invite you to start peeling off those layers of the onions of your beliefs in your life to get to the pure, authentic, most valuable version of you. All right, so let's go to your beliefs in real estate. There is a belief, got all my notes here. So beliefs about the marketplace. Okay, so let's go back to 2008, 2009, when there was this time frame in the United States called the recession. And real estate it seems that real estate took the brunt of the hit during the recession in the 2008, 2009, 2010. And so it might have affected you. Hey, it affected me, okay? So as well. You might have heard over and over and over, the real estate market is down. The real estate market sucks. Bad time to buy any property. Horrible time to get financing. Don't get over leveraged. Don't buy. There's nobody buying houses, for example, in commercial, in residential. There's nobody buying buildings in commercial. And you've heard this over and over and over. And here's the thing. You heard it from your peers. You went to the networking meetings, and everybody just fed off the negative. And then you turned into MSNBC, or you turned into NBC, or you turned into one of those money shows, and they kept feeding it to you over and over and over and over. And then, you know, way down deep, maybe you knew, okay, there is an opportunity here somewhere. So I got to go find it. So you start talking to your friends and your family, and what do they tell you? No, not a good time, not a good time, not a good time. So the real estate market itself at that time frame um, had this reputation that it was down. If you were in real estate, you would be down and out. It was, it was a bad time to be in it. Now the facts are that the natural peaks and valleys that real estate takes through my career, and by the way, my career, I just added it up the other day, 40 years, 40 years that I've been doing real estate. I purchased my first real estate. I purchased my first piece of property at the age of 17 years old. So 40 years I've been in real estate. And the market has always peaked, valley, peak, valley, peak, valley, peak, valley, peak, valley, spike, spike, dip. In 2008, 2009, it took the most severe dip that I'd ever experienced in 40 years. Okay, so the reality is, yes, the market statistically and collectively took a dip that affected a lot of people. Does that mean that there was not opportunity in the real estate market in 2008, 2009? Well, no. In fact, 2008, 2009, specifically 2010 and 11, personally, I made more money in real estate than I'd ever made prior to any time in my life. And many people made money because they had the mentality, hey, if it's down, if in fact it is down, then now's the time to buy. Now's the time to invest. I can buy for low and sell it for just a little bit more, but it's still way lower than the normal market. And that's an opportunity for another buyer. So there was a group of people with the mindset that in 2008 through 2000 and let's call it 2011, they said, we can take advantage of this valley, this normal valley in the cycle of real estate. And now, a lot of those people bought property at that time, and then it started spiking and spiking and spiking. I remember I bought a house in Las Vegas, and you only know this I bought it as a personal house. Okay, so you only know this in retrospect. So you know how the real estate industry will show you peaks and valleys, and it's on a little spreadsheet chart, and it goes up and down, goes up and down, and you don't really know where the spike was or where the dip was in the market until much later, usually like 2-3 years later. So I remember looking at one of those charts of the Las Vegas market in about 2015, and I purchased my home in March of 2011. And as I look back in retrospect, March 2011 was the bottom of all the dips. Now I knew it was, it was low back in 2010, 2011, but when I finally did purchase a house, it was the very bottom of the market of the entire cycle. I didn't know that until about 3 years later in retrospect when I could look back, but I wouldn't have even been in that in that mindset, or if I wouldn't even have been in that game if I hadn't had the mindset of, oh, there's an opportunity here. So when I finally resold the house, let me see, 5 years later, when I resold the house in 2016, of course the spike had gone up, but now if I look back at the spike when I sold it, it was still much lower than where it is now. Looking back in retrospect. Now I made money on it, made plenty of money on it, and if I'd held it another 3 years, man, it would have really spiked. But I'm not going to play that game in my mind about what I could have, should have, would have done. All right, so don't do that either. But the point being is that people have a mindset, they have a belief about the market. So do your research, do your homework, do your analysis of the market at any time, but don't let that affect your beliefs, because in every single market, historically, there has been an opportunity. And it's just incumbent upon you and me to seek out that opportunity. Go find where that opportunity is and maximize that opportunity. And you only are able to do that if you have the right belief about the marketplace, in real estate. And that belief sounds a little bit something like there is always opportunity in the marketplace. Okay. Number two, that number one is marketplace beliefs. Number two is people beliefs. People in the real estate business. You know, I heard a story the other day, and by the way, I do not buy into this story. I'm just relaying the story to you for for illustrative purposes. And it was someone who was talking about realtors, and pardon my colorful language here, but his comment was, the realtors, they always try to, I won't even say it, they always try to F you out of the commission. They're effing you out of this, they're effing you out of that. I'm like, really? Like, I've dealt with a lot of great realtors in my career. I still deal with a lot of great realtors in my career. In fact, in my career, like maybe only 2 instances of really bad situations with realtors stand out in my mind. Maybe I had some not so pleasant experiences in the past, but really only 2 kind of negative experiences stand out in my mind about realtors. That means that I've got hundreds of other examples of instances where realtors, they were a benefit, they were great. So this person's belief about people, in this case realtors, in the real estate business was very, very negative. Now that might have been shaded or affected by his experience with realtors, might have been shaded or influenced by negative experiences he had with realtors. But it felt to me like he was moving forward in his business with the mindset of trying to, of not working with realtors in an effective manner. Like he was trying to get over on realtors because by golly, he knew realtors were going to try to get over on him. So that's a belief. Okay, that actually went from a personal belief to a global belief in that situation. Do you understand that? So personally, he had been affected negatively by realtors, and then so he had a personal belief about realtors, and then that went into a negative global belief about realtors. All realtors are so-and-sos. Okay, so the other group that often gets a bad rap is contractors or vendors. Title companies, attorneys, surveyors, estimators, building contractors, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, appraisers, etc. So that we're in a people business. The real estate world is a people business, and you've got to do anything and everything you can to foster good relationships. Really, the biggest problem with relationships in this business is communication. And so ineffective, poor, unclear communication breeds all kinds of problems. So if you continue to have problems with anybody in this business, people of any sort, realtors, contractors, vendors, etc., if you're having a lot of problems, I think you need to look in the mirror, because there is a common denominator. When you have a problem with a bunch of people, there's a common denominator, and that common denominator is usually you. And it takes a person that is aware and that is desirous of improving themselves to take a really hard look at the way that they communicate. So beliefs about people in this business is very crucial. So you can hold the other belief, the other end of the spectrum here, that we're all in this together, we're all trying to work through this together, that people are inherently good, and that people have inherently good aspects to them, and that we just need to communicate better and get along better and be more clear and determine what the other person wants in the relationship or in the transaction in order to have a good people relationship with beliefs and people in the real estate business. This going back to when you were young and influenced, your beliefs about people were shaped by your environment, your family, your friends, your church, your school. And I mean, think about it, right? So um, you go to school. I don't know about you, but I went to a high school where we thought, I played on the football team and we thought we were the best in the state. Now, it didn't turn out that way. We were usually second or third best in the state. But the year that I was a, let me see, junior, I guess, we were third best in the state, okay? Or fourth best. Doesn't matter. The point is that there was an influential train of thought in our high school that we were better than everybody else. And not just because we scored more points, but that we were just like better, right? It was like an arrogance thing. We were better. Our colors were better. Our mascot was better. Our school was better. Our building was better. Everything was better, 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 better. Well, guess what? There's great schools everywhere, but that kind of thinking gets into your wiring and creates a belief that you're better. And you can, and I don't believe that it's a matter of being better. The only one that I want to be better than is me yesterday. I hope that today I'm better than me yesterday in some aspect of my life. When you walk around thinking I'm better than that person, I'm better than that group, I'm better than that. I mean, that's the problem in our society today. People think that they are better than others in some way. And so those are people beliefs. And those people beliefs were shaped when you were young by your environment and by the other people that that were in your circle of associations. All right. We talked a little bit about this a minute ago, and that is money beliefs in real estate. Now, of all the things that I educate people on and that I mentor people on, the thing that is the deepest is beliefs about money and beliefs about a person's worth to have money, to acquire money, and to acquire the things that money affords you the opportunity to have access to. Did you hear what I just said there? Money affords you the opportunity to have access to things, places, and people. Money is very simply a measurement of that access. And so if you want more access to nicer cars, that means more money. If you want more access to better properties to invest in, that means more money. If you want access to doing something really meaningful in the world through a charitable donation or charitable organization for humans or for animals or for the planet itself, that means better access, more money. So and it's not that you can't use your sweat equity or you can't use your individual effort to influence those, because you can. And you can make an impact with your sweat equity in those areas. But ultimately, if you want access to better places, better experiences, better ways to influence the planet, then that's going to require you have an appropriate belief about money. And so in the beginning, when we talked about, it's easier for a rich man, camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is the rich man to inherit the kingdom of God. And the love of money is the root of all injurious things, or whatever that text says. If you let those kinds of beliefs from way, way, way back when influence you, then it's going to influence your beliefs about money, and it's going to influence your access, your ability to access the things that you want to access. I had a thought about, the other belief is people say, well, money doesn't give you happiness. Being poor gives you a lot less happiness. Let me put it to you that way. I mean, there's all kinds of, silly quotes out there about money doesn't give you happiness. But I'll tell you what, there have been times in my life when I haven't had money, and there have been times in my life when I've had a lot of money. And I seem to be a whole lot happier when I have the money and the access that goes along with it. So don't buy into this belief of money doesn't create happiness, because it does. It just flat out does. I mean, go, I live in Austin, Texas, and so almost on every single street corner there is a what do you call it, a money, people begging for money. They have the little signs up. 25 cents will help out, and those kind. Well, my heart goes out to those people, and a lot of those people I feel are experiencing mental challenges, mental illness. A lot of them are down on their luck, but you can't say they're happy. So their lack of money doesn't make them happy. Their lack of money is making them miserable. I don't care why they're out there in terms of, what the reason is behind how they got there. They're unhappy. And that seemed to be a last resort or an easy resort for them to go to. All right, that's my social commentary on people standing on the street corner. Okay, but the belief that money can't make you make you happy, be very, very, very careful about how you believe about money. Money can't make you happy. How about this? People say, "Oh, that person is filthy rich." When you put two words together that conflict each other, the brain tends to pick the negative of the two. So rich, oh, that sounds great. Filthy, dirty, nasty. And the brain will associate the negative aspect of rich. So filthy, dirty, filthy money, dirty money, crooked money, those kinds of things. Be very, very careful about how you match the words together with money. The other thing is too, about money and about people with money and access. Do you celebrate them? Seriously, do you celebrate them? I heard a story last night about at dinner about a basketball player, a very famous basketball player, who is being offered hundreds of millions of dollars to stay in the city that he's playing for. And people, people at the table are going like, "Oh man, that's so wrong. That's just, and I'm like, good for him. Good for him. Boy, if he can pull that out of the hat, good for him. Good for taking his skills and maximizing. I also read a story the other day that, let's see, who was it? The guy that plays for the Golden State Warriors. He's got a contract renewal coming up, and let's see if I can get this right. And if I don't get this exactly right, you can Google it, but the concept is what I'm after here. And so if the team doesn't declare him, what do they call it? Not a team player, a franchise player. Okay. If the team declares him a franchise player, then he will get like $140 million. If, or maybe it's the other way around, he'll get $160 million over 5 years. If they don't declare him a franchise player, then he'll go out into the open market for free agency, and the most he can get is like $140 million. So, they were I was reading an article about this, and they were making a big deal out of how bad his situation is now because he could potentially lose $20 million. And I'm thinking to myself, good for him. Good for him for pressing the market to try to get his extra $20 million. And good for him for being at the place in his life where he can command 140, 50, $60 million. Good for him. So do you celebrate the success of others, the money of others, or, and this is where you can do the personal evaluation, do you have a sense of envy, of jealousy? Do you have a sense of lack, that, oh, I wish I could do that? Here's the bigger question. Do you have a sense of, oh, I could never get that? Do you drive by, a massive house and you go like, I could never do that? Or you see a really cool car on the street that you like, and you're just like, man, I could never get that. If that enters your mind, then I would invite you to check your psychology, your beliefs about money. But if you see that cool car, and if you see that cool house, and you see that business person or that athlete or that salesperson or that person with, that real estate person with a lot of assets and a lot of money, and you say to yourself, wow, good for them. Good for them. I'm doing what I can too. Good for them. Now your beliefs about money are more in check. And then as you grow your beliefs, like money circulates. So I give you $5 and you're going to go spend $5 down there at Starbucks, and then that employee at Starbucks is going to go to the movie theater, and those employees at the movie theater, they're going to come. It's just circular. It's just movement, right? And so you're going to open up your beliefs, peel off the layers of the onion layers and of your beliefs, and let the money move through you. That's how you manage your beliefs about money. Take a real hard look at your beliefs about money and where they came from, and the influence of those beliefs when you were younger. Okay, so number one, your real estate beliefs about the market. Number two, your real estate beliefs about people. Number three, your real estate beliefs about money. All right. Number four, your real estate beliefs about your ability to be successful in the real estate business. Now, what I mean by this, so we all have beliefs about ourselves and about our worth and about our ability and our capacity to perform. So, okay, from my personal experience. So for many years, I did single family residences, fix and flip, fix and flip, fix and flip. And then about 7 years ago, I started thinking to myself, why don't I do multifamily? Why do I just buy properties one at a time? Why can't I buy a property with many doors? And then I started thinking, well, that's because I always thought too hard, too much money, don't have the money, can't find the financing, too hard to manage. So I had these beliefs about it. Now, maybe you're a lot younger than I am and you don't have those beliefs. Great. Love it. It's an evolution here. All right. We're all evolving. So once I had an awareness of, oh, that's a pitiful belief, and there's got to be somebody out there that teaches how to do it. So I sought out a program, and I got the education of how to buy a multifamily. And so now I have hundreds of doors, 458 to be exact, and I can teach others how to go get how to get multifamily properties, multi-unit properties with little experience, little money, right? So that's just a belief. So as I walk down, let's say I walk downtown in Austin, Texas, there's these tall, beautiful, brand new buildings. Like the skyline of Austin has changed in the past 8 to 10 years significantly. And I look at those buildings and I'm guessing they're 600, 700, 800 million dollars worth of buildings per building. And I look at it and I go, somebody did that. There is a way to do that. I need to learn how to do that. So rather than say, oh, I can't do that, now I say, I'm going to learn how to do that. So at some point, I'll learn how to do those much, 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 much larger projects, how those are funded, how those are built, how they're managed, etc. Okay? It's just the growth. So your ability, be really cognizant of your beliefs about your own ability, and be honest with yourself about your self-esteem and your own personal value and where your beliefs came from about your own personal value. Unfortunately, a lot of people are told when they're young, they're not worth it. They're worthless. They're not going to amount to anything. They're unintelligent. They're not pretty. They're not fast. They're not smart. They're not, all the bullshit that comes into our ears by unaware, unhappy people, okay, creates an influence. So if any of that is happened to you, and you sense that you have a lack of confidence, or a lack of confidence in your ability to do things, then go get some help. I mean, talk to somebody. Figure out a way to elevate your own personal worth and your own personal sense of what you are able to do. So that's another belief in real estate that affects you dramatically, and that is your ability to perform. Um, then finally, I would say that you want to take a really hard look at your beliefs about the future, about the future of your career, about the future of your life, about the future of real estate as an industry, and how you fit into that. And by the way, your beliefs about the future can be personal beliefs, they can be global beliefs. So it all fits together. So take a really good look at your beliefs about the future. Do you believe, well, let's start with you personally, right? So, okay, I was having this conversation with Letitia yesterday. I personally believe that I will live beyond 100 years old. So, and I will be healthy, active, adventurous, and interesting at 100 years old or better. I have always, for as long as I can remember, I have always believed that I was going to live beyond 100 years old. And now, as we've seen the last, especially 20 years of the improvement in health and fitness and food and nutrition and taking care of our bodies, like, the new 60 is 40, and the new 70 is 50, and the new 40 is 30, because we're taking better care of ourselves. So I'm in a fortunate time right now that we have so much available to us societally to help us in the longevity of our lives. So that's a personal belief that I hold to be true, that I will still be active and adventurous and healthy and vibrant beyond 100 years old. But how does that affect the real estate? Right? I'm still going to be in the business. Why not? I mean, I know what I know. I'm not going to get less education. I'm only going to continue to get more education. But the future of real estate in this country is phenomenal. I mean, more people coming in to the country, better jobs coming into the country, more people being born in the country than ever. I mean, our country really is only it's 250 years old. Forgive me for the math, but it's a very young country. So as it continues to age and the population continues to expand, the future of real estate continues to expand. So when you hold that belief, what happens? You match it with the other beliefs about money and about people and about the market. You know that the market's going to expand, and you belong in the real estate market because there are opportunities. So that's your belief about the future. If you believe that the future is bright, steady, stable, opportunistic, and exciting, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get a future that is bright, stable, opportunistic, exciting, instead of a drab future. So there you have it. Your beliefs about real estate revolve around several things. Your belief about money, your belief about the market, your belief about people, your belief about the future of the business, and most of all, your belief in you and your belief in your ability to perform in the real estate industry and in the real estate space and in this career. Those are my monthly thoughts for you, and I would love your feedback. Please give me your feedback on this video. There's a lot of meat in this video. Feel free to watch it many times. And these are things that I've thought about. These are things that I've studied for many years. These are things that I've done my work. And by the way, let me tell you, about the moment I think, okay, I've done a lot of work, guess what? It's time to do more work. So I have a personal commitment to do more personal development work, more personal evolution work, more work on my beliefs about money, my beliefs about people, my beliefs about me and my abilities, my beliefs about the future, my beliefs about the market. I have a commitment to do my work to continue to expand the beliefs that I hold. And more importantly, how the beliefs that I hold and how they influence others positively. So that's my commitment to myself. I invite you to have a commitment to yourself to expand your belief system in a positive way, to expand how you believe about yourself and your abilities to perform in the marketplace and in real estate. Because, if you're not growing, you're kind of just waiting around to push up daisies. So I don't want that for any of you. I want you all to be profitable, happy, thriving individuals. All right. That's everything. I look forward to talking to you guys all in the future. I'm going to end the recording and reach out